What's up everyone and welcome back. Today I'm going to be going over my top 10 list for New Comic Book Day, January 5th, 2022. This was such an awesome week for new books. Image released Nocterra, the Blacktop Bill special. Thor was a huge one this week, not just for readers but speculators as well. And AWA had a brand new series come out. I cannot wait to talk about these books. But before I get started off on this week's top 10 list, if you are new to the channel, I drop weekly comic book content that's going to keep you up to date on all of the latest releases. So if you don't want to miss out on any of that, be sure to hit the subscribe button down low and the little bell to get notified. Every time I drop new content, you won't regret it. And now, without further ado, let's get started on this week's top 10 list. Alright everyone, so I hope you all had a fantastic new comic book day this week and you were able to get all of your pull list issues. I'd say overall it's a very solid new comic book day. I picked up 10 total issues and I cannot wait to talk about them. But with that being said, as always, just be aware, I get very excited talking about some of these books, so there's probably going to be spoilers. I'm going to put a little spoiler tag down at the bottom just to give you a heads up that they're going to be coming. But if you don't want to hear any sort of spoilers, just skip to the next number. So to kick this top 10 list off first, we've got coming in at number 10. This is Marvel's brand new miniseries, and this was a very last second pickup. We've got Marvel's Elektra, Black, White, and Blood, issue number 1. This is cover A. As I was saying, very last second pickup. I read the Carnage one, I think a little bit of the Wolverine one as well, and I thought, you know what, usually these aren't too bad. I haven't read anything with Elektra in a very long time. I stopped reading the current Daredevil series pretty much right before she took over as the main Daredevil. But with that being said, this was alright. I'm probably going to continue on with it. I'm not going to be getting too in-depth with the actual stories themselves because if you've read any of these before, all it is just mini stories. They're not very long, but with this one, there's 3 separate ones. I thought the first one was probably the best one, and that had the least amount of dialogue. I like the artwork with it, but I wanted to see more of that particular story. Let me know what you thought about this issue down low in the comments section. We can talk about it a little bit more, but for those reasons, we've got Marvel's new one, Elektra, Black, White, and Blood, issue number 1, coming in at number 10. So next up on my list this week, we've got coming in at number 9. This is Image's Frontiersman, issue number 4. This is cover A, and I don't know. I honestly don't know how I feel about this series still. I loved the first issue. I think it got top 3 on that week's top 10 list. The artwork has been absolutely gorgeous consistently throughout all of these issues, and that might be the reason I'm still reading this series. Because after you got through the first issue, the series itself kind of went a different direction. And in so far, issues 2, 3, and now 4 have kind of followed that same path of you've got a little bit of plot going on, but there's still a lot of characters that we don't know a lot about. And in each issue kind of introduced a new character that the Frontiersman had a past with. Hasn't been bad, but I just really don't know how I feel about it so far. And this 4th issue has been the exact same as issues 2 and 3 as well. I like that character. I kind of want to know what these villains are all about. But in this issue particularly, it's just dealing with everything that happened in the last issue, and now the Frontiersman is just dealing with it. So with that being said, we've got coming in at number 9 this week, Frontiersman, issue number 4. Next up on my list this week, we've got coming in at number 8. This is Marvel's Captain America Iron Man, issue number 2. This is cover A. This second issue was way better than I thought it was going to be. So the first one, I picked it up, brand new series, had Alex Ross artwork, had my name all over it, had to pick it up. The issue itself really wasn't that bad, wasn't great, didn't hate it at the same time. Same with the artwork, really wasn't horrible, but nothing that was just over the top. I picked this one up anyway, kind of last second, and man, way better than I thought it was going to be. So for a miniseries, this has a lot of stuff going on in it right now. You know, we've got Captain America, Iron Man, they're kind of off doing their own thing, while at the same time finding their group of paladins, just keeping track on them. But they've got their own thing going on too. They're trying to find one of their enemies, while there's another enemy happening. There's a lot happening, but you know, for a miniseries, they're doing a really good job with it. I'm actually really recommending this one right now. If you're a Marvel fan, definitely if you're a Captain America, Iron Man fan, they've got some really good dialogue in this issue in particular. But right now, I'm excited to see where they go with this series. So like I said before, I'm highly recommending this one right now. So with that being said, we've got Captain America, Iron Man, issue number 2, coming in at number 8. Next up on my list this week, we've got coming in at number 7. This is Marvel's The Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 84. This is cover A for it, and this series is finally getting back on track after the last couple issues where they were focused on Peter Parker while he was in the hospital. They weren't bad issues. They were definitely a little bit more on the weird side, and I think they changed the artwork for one of them as well. Can't 100% remember though. But now with this issue number 84, we're back following Ben Reilly, the Beyond Corporation, everything that was going on before the Peter Parker stuff. Loved it. I love the artwork, and I thought the story was fantastic as it's been since the beginning of this new volume. With this one, we got to see Ben Reilly, everything that he was dealing with the Beyond Corporation, how they kind of see there's a little bit of tension growing between the two parties. But then, you know, just like always, he gets called to action. But the cool thing about this issue was that all the fight scenes, it was against Doc Ock. And I just saw the new Amazing Spider-Man movie. I thought that was great too. So to read this right after seeing that, I'm a big fan of it. But for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 7 this week, we have The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 84. And next up on my list this week, we've got coming in at number 6, this is Image's Hellcop, issue number 3. This is cover C for it. This series has been fantastic. I love the story. Just the pacing of each issue has felt very complete when I'm done reading it. I love the characters, the backstory that we're slowly learning on some of them, and just the relationships between everybody so far, whether it's actual humans or everything that's just down in hell right now. I just love how they interact. This issue picks up where the last one left off. Our main character, he's still trying to clear his name, basically. He's down in hell. He's trying to just figure out who is trying to frame him. And that's honestly kind of the entire story. If I get into it a little bit more, I'm just going to be spoiling some minor details. So I don't want to do that for you guys. Definitely check this one out if you haven't already done so. It's only 3 issues deep. You can find those issues. I don't think they're flying off the shelves that I'm aware of. But with that being said, we've got coming in at number 6 this week, we have Hellcop, issue number 3. And now we're down to the top 5 issues of the week. We've got coming in at number 5 this week. This is AWA's brand new series. We have The Fourth Man, issue number 1. This is cover A for it. I'm just going to say it right now. If you guys are still sleeping on AWA, you are making a massive mistake. Almost every single thing that they are coming out with has been incredible. The only series that I can honestly say that I really wasn't that big of a fan of was Marjorie Finnegan Temporal Criminal, and I stopped reading around issue 3. So if you are reading it, let me know if it got better. I just really wasn't a big fan of it at the beginning stages of it. But that's not going to say that I'm not going to read the trade paperback for it. So with this issue, it's a 4-issue mini run, and I love the early setup of it. We've got our 2 detectives, and they basically go to a coroner's office, and then the issue itself is now following one dead person. So there's going to be 3 dead people. So out of the 4 issues, I'm sure each issue is going to be focusing on the story of how that one person died. I'm not going to be getting into that one person in general. I pretty much just gave you a brief overview of how the series is kind of set up and where the direction of it is most likely going. Definitely pick this one up if you're an AWA fan, an indie fan. It was a fantastic read. I think it's the same artist that was on Bad Mother. Not 100% on that one though, but for those reasons, we've got The Fourth Man, issue number 1, coming in at number 5. Next up this week, we've got coming in at number 4, this is Marvel's Thor, issue number 20. This is cover A for and arguably probably the hottest book of the week if you're a speculator. It's selling for a ton of money on eBay right now. I think $20 plus shipping as of yesterday. The 1 in 25 incentive variant was selling for around $120 to $130 because there is a first appearance. Technically, I would treat it more as a cameo, my opinion. So we do have a brand new character appearing on the final page. We do get the name of that character as well. But to me, doesn't really make a big impact like at all. Doesn't really influence the story at all. Everything that kind of led up to the appearance of the character was all of that character's doing. So I don't really want to spoil a lot of stuff, but this issue, not a lot of action at all. It was just showing a lot of destruction that recently happened. And then, you know, we have Thor, Loki, Odin. They're discussing things, trying to figure out how to find Mjolnir. And then one thing leads to another, and then that's why I'm not going to spoil anything. So if you're here to read this story, try and check it out online, get a digital copy, wait for the trade paperbacks. But if you're a speculator, my opinion, I don't think this is going to hold up very long. Donny Cates is notorious for making these characters, and then all of a sudden everything skyrockets. We saw it with Null, we saw it with the Black Winter early in this series, and just kind of fizzled out. I think Black Winter is definitely going to be coming back, and I think going forward, this character is going to play an impact too. But going real forward, I don't know about that. Let's talk about this one a little bit more down low. I really don't want to spoil anything because I know this is going to be a huge book for a lot of people. And speaking of that, Key Collector already spoiled it a few days ago. That's going to be the question of the week. How do you feel about Key Collector? They've spoiled things before. I personally think it is a very useful app. I think it's a useful tool. They have a lot of good information on there for a lot of new people to the hobby. But overall, I don't know. I want to hear your opinions on it down low though. But for those reasons, we've got Thor issue number 20 coming in at number 4. And now we're down to the final 3 issues of the week. We've got coming in at number 3 this week. This is Marvel's Black Widow, issue number 13. This is cover A for it, and honestly, this might be one of my favorite ongoings from Marvel right now. I absolutely love it. Every time there's a new Black Widow issue that comes out, I look at my stack and I think, that is going to be an incredible issue. It's going to be in the top 5 every single time, and this team delivers every single issue. I love it. This one in particular, I love the artwork. It was basically an entire issue of just straight action and internal monologue from the Black Widow. Absolutely fantastic. You really need to check this one out. But like I said, not a lot of real dialogue amongst characters. It was just a ton of action, so there's nothing really to spoil other than that. You got to pick it up. You got to check this one out. I'm really looking forward to seeing where they go with the rest of this series. But for those reasons, we've got Black Widow issue number 13 coming in at number 3. Next up, down to the final 2. We've got coming in at number 2 this week. This is Image's Nita Hawes Nightmare Blog, issue number 3. This is cover A, and this series is taking off. The first issue pretty much introduced us to everything that's going to be going on. We got to see that it's kind of involved with the Philadelphia world as well. So I'm hoping that they kind of do a little mix between both series at some point. But that aside, issue 2, just as fantastic. That's the issue where we got to see where the plot was pretty much going to be going, most likely for the rest of this arc. And now this one, man, everything took off in this issue. The artwork, the action, just the demons, it was so cool. That's all I'm going to spoil though for this one. Other than that, we got to see our main characters. She's still trying to figure out more about this singer and just everything that pretty much happened to him over the years that led him to be where he is right now. But there's just so much more going on in this issue. The next issue is going to be incredible. 3 issues deep. I know so many LCSs have back issues for this one. Go check it out. But for those reasons, we've got Nita Hawes Nightmare Blog, issue number 3, coming in at number 2. And here we go. My number 1 read of the week. We've got coming in at number 1 this week. This is Image's Nocterra Blacktop Bill Special. This is just a one-shot. This is cover B for it, and I loved it. The artwork I thought was okay though. I don't know if I'm a little biased because I'm a huge Nocterra fan. I really hype it up every time an issue comes out, and I highly recommend it to everybody. But this, maybe it's just been that long since we had a Nocterra issue, but I love that we finally got the origin story and just a background story on Bill. It was so cool to just see who he was as a character before everything happened to Earth. And I'm not even going to give anything away. I'm not going to say a single thing about Bill, but the entire issue was not just following him around, but it was dialogue from a previous Nocterra issue. If you can recall, I don't remember exactly which issue it was, but our main character and that one lady that worked at the compound, I think she was the one that distributes all the rations or the tools or whatever they need. They were talking about who Blacktop Bill was, but they kind of cut it off, and now this issue was almost a continuation of that entire conversation. It was absolutely fantastic in my opinion. If you are a Nocterra fan, this is hands down a must pick up. And with that being said, I loved it. The artwork, like I said, was all right, but we have coming in at number 1 this week, Nocterra Blacktop Bill Special, one shot, taking the crown. So what'd you guys think about this week's new comic book day? Hands down, that Nocterra Special was getting the number 1 choice from me. I did love that Nita Hawes Nightmare Blog issue as well. But I don't know if I'm just biased towards Nocterra, but I love that series. Be sure to comment down below what your favorite issue of the week was. And before, when I asked that question about Key Collector, I really do want to know everybody's opinions. Like I said, I think it's a great tool. They have a lot of information, but they are so notorious for spoiling things early just so they can say that they got the jump on stuff. I want to know what you have to say about that. And with that being said, if you do watch my previews video as well, I did talk about how I want to get more into DC. Comment that down below. I know this week we had the new Detective Comics issue. I am going to be getting that. My LCS was very busy when they opened. It's a brand new arc. It's a great jumping on point. I'm definitely going to be grabbing it. And thanks for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. And if you don't want to miss out on any of my upcoming content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down low and the little bell to get notified. Every time I drop new content, you won't regret it. And I've got 2 more videos sitting off to the side here with more of my comic book content. Click on one of those and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.